your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, Season 1, Episode 1, Amazing Fantasy Thoughts. This episode is rated TV Y7FV. Absolutely love this episode. Spoilers for this episode, possibly also the MCU, since certainly there are some rifts here, though it does appear to not quite be meant to be in continuity unless Peter had the exact same interaction with both Norman Osborn and Tony Stark, at least part of the way. I suppose it's possible to play out different. Yeah, let's dive right in. So, I really appreciate how much... right. Yeah. Let's get the obvious out of the way. So far, this has not reached the heights of either of the Spider-Verse movies. I'm not sure the show will. I am trying not to hold it to such a high standard. Can Sony just start doing everything they do related to Spider-Man as animation and give it to really talented people? Although apparently they overwork the animators. Yeah, animation and video game development really need to be regulated to prevent this kind of overworking. Other than that, did want to note right away, Amazing Fantasy is, of course, the book that Spider-Man debuted in before he got his own book. So, makes a lot of sense for the pilot episode. Yeah, let's dive right in. So, I am really, really glad they get through the origin part really quickly. I don't think we need to see a drawn-out version of it pretty much ever again, unless you're doing something really daring and different with it. And yeah, so let's see. So it starts with him, the 15 minutes late, and yeah, the oatmeal. It's one of those things, like it's nice, it's like the she's trying to take care of him, but it is kind of, it's not the most appealing option once it's bagged and tagged and in your backpack and the whole thing. So that was a neat little thing. Let's see, this Spider-Man apparently also idolizes Iron Man, since there's an Iron Man, or I suppose it's possible it's May who got it, but in the car, the I don't know what those are called. I'm not a car person, not a transformer. But yeah, one of those hanging things where you might hang an air freshener. Yes. So let's see. I think the episode does a good job showing the Parker luck pretty much throughout, really. And let's see. Yeah. I was not expecting it to kick off so soon. I thought, oh, we're gonna watch him be in school for a while, but then, Doctor Strange, portal opens, symbiote creature, apparently, according to the credits. And let's see. Yeah, I appreciate that this... So it's a world that has some similarities to the MCU, but it's apparently not quite the MCU. And yeah, as such, every so often a hero will just pop in, perhaps remind you to watch some of their stuff, since you're already on Disney Plus. Wouldn't kill you. And let's see. And hypothetically, if it did, eventually Disney would say, okay, our bad. We know you got the free trial, but we are actually going to accept responsibility for killing your spouse. But let's see. That's where the spider comes from, and great with the, even before he has powers, he is trying to be a hero, and the thing with, oh wow, you actually look a lot closer up, big. Take that, flip it and reverse it. And yeah, meeting Nico and this thing of she gives her name, it's like, I didn't name myself. That was a funny, what happened to him? He didn't like my name? Yeah. And let's see. So yeah, I would prefer if we finally got more Spider-Man that wasn't a white hetero dude, but at least the supporting cast are more ethnically diverse, and it's not only at least trading in negative cliches about them. Let's see. Yeah, I am for now holding off on judging too harshly this thing with Pearl, because I want to see where exactly they take it before I say anything too. Let me just say, for now it's flagged. It's a little okay. So the age difference isn't huge. What did they say? 3 years or something like that. So not the worst. Yeah. Please do not turn Peter Parker into an incel any more than certain versions of him already are. Now, let's see. I think, yeah, the show so far is doing a really great job taking like the really classic Spider-Man and mixing in some more modern stuff. Like if you go back to the earliest comics, I've read a bunch of them. Yeah, not a lot of diversity there, so they're already doing better on that front. And let's see, yeah, loving the art style. I think I'm gonna save more detailed comments about the art for the review itself. That brings us to, but yeah, one thing I want to note: Doctor Strange here is more reminiscent of MCU Doctor Strange than most of the comic versions that I've read. So that's another thing where it's reminiscent of the MCU. It's MCU adjacent. Like these, in general, the Marvel animation so far has not been canon with the MCU, although What If, obviously draws a lot from the MCU. X-Men 97 is very distant, though it does bring in certain characters that are famously in the MCU. And let's see. Yeah, the various scenes of Spider-Man doing Spider-Man stuff were quite good. Like, yeah, like when we saw the trailer. I'm not the first person to point this out. Brick to the head. That is like, holy crap, Peter. Yeah, he is an MCU style hero, I guess. Yeah, they do sometimes engage in quite brutal acts when yeah. Let's see. Yeah, good detail with them, like live streaming violence. I've heard that is a thing. It also came up in Glass. Let's see, and I think that might just about, yeah. They really capture Peter's awkwardness and his quipping and such. And let's see, we have the yeah, good detail with the pizza. Pizza time. And yeah, I really appreciate them subverting the trope of the meathead jock. I don't think we need more of those, perhaps especially in Spider-Man stories. I appreciate that, when Spider-Man first debuted, it was important to say, hey, maybe have some empathy for the nerds, don't just worship the jocks. That was, as was the problem at the time. But we've seen it by now, so yeah, I like the idea that they're going to be friends and that the jock is actually smart. Which, wait, does that mean he's no longer a jock? The quarterback is smart. And let's see. Yeah, I think, yeah, and I appreciate that they do make it clear it's not the fact that he's black that makes Peter think, oh, maybe not the smartest, because clearly he doesn't think Pearl is, it is genuinely the quarterback thing. And let's see. Yeah, so far I think they're doing a really great job with the balance. Like, I don't need to see more Peter Parker in high school, but if we're gonna get it, at least try to not just constantly have, but yeah, there is a little bit of, he has to, he gets into class late, and he's worried about who he's gonna be partnered up with, this kind of stuff. I don't mind the romance, the him, yeah, but so my favorite Spider-Man is after high school, so yeah. And we've gotten so much of it, of the, we have 3 live action, not all 3 of them are trilogies, but that is still 8 movies, and in all of them Peter Parker, well, hold on, actually, let's see, he graduates high school partway through, and anyway, yeah, high school and just after high school is what I'm saying. I've read stories where he's like teaching college. I think that's an interesting place to go. And yeah, not sure we're gonna see it anytime soon, though I would like to in one of these, in animation or live action or something. That does bring us nicely to when the I'm gonna real quick find the name. So the quarterback, Lonnie, that was it. Yeah, and my computer's being weird. There we go. Lonnie, yeah, going back home, and on the metro, I think, is that what subway? I forget what y'all Americans call it, but yeah, you know a white woman, is anxious about sitting next to him because he's black, and there's this like racial profiling bit with the cop, and yeah, he lives in a at least somewhat bad neighborhood, although his family life does seem quite happy. And you could tell they're like worried about not spending too much money. There's that thing about maybe you won't have to take the car into the shop, and that's a major relief. That's not the kind of thing that someone like with a lot of money, yeah, wouldn't even cross their mind. So yeah, I am trying to withhold judgment on that because it's one of those things where like it's important to build empathy for poverty-stricken African Americans. It's also important to not act like, oh, if you're African American, you're definitely poor. So, yeah, let's see. We don't know about Pearl yet. Norman Osborn, here an African American, he is rich, but is it a spoiler to say, or does everyone know who Norman Osborn? I guess for now I'll just say he's not necessarily the best role model in the comics. So, yeah. And Pearl is for now primarily the object of Peter's affection. We know almost nothing about her other than that he likes her, just like I know more about Nico than I know about Pearl. But this was only the first episode. There's a chance for them to turn around. Oh, right. I just realized something I got to say. I know 2 episodes dropped. I was going to say today. I think it was yesterday. I think I'm going to do the next one tomorrow. My back cannot really handle me sitting like this for too long in a row. And that's probably going to be how I do. We'll see. It's possible that that'll change for some of the upcoming ones. Yes. Let's see. I think that does pretty much. Right. I really appreciated the thing about like Peter acknowledging, oh hey, she made a mistake. She's down on her luck. Do you have to press charges, kind of thing? That was genuinely a good, because that is something that for a while went unacknowledged. But yeah, like a lot of people, if they steal, if they steal a lot, they're probably like white collar crime, and for some reason that hasn't been treated as bad, even though it hurts significantly more people than blue collar crime. But anyway, a lot of people who steal just a little bit of money or food or that sort of thing, yeah, it's out of need, it's out of desperation, so yeah, I really appreciate the acknowledgement of that. And I do also think that is, like, I think Marvel Animation are keenly aware that, a lot of people don't like cops so much no more. So this is perhaps a good time to try to make clear Spider-Man isn't a cop. He does actually have empathy and is trying to do good, not just brutalize minorities. I think that does pretty well cover. Yeah, I'm excited to see where they're gonna take the thing with Peter and Norman. It's a neat little. I mean, I figure at least part of the reason he's there is probably that. You know, See, that's the thing. Does he know that Peter is Spider-Man, and thus Peter saved his son? Because there are he wouldn't be the first Spider-Man supporting character to figure out that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, and so is Miles Morales. But yeah, I'm excited to see where they take it because he is not quite the same person in the comics as Tony Stark is. So a mentorship there, yeah, like that could be. They could really do something very, very interesting with that. It remains to be seen whether or not they manage to, but yeah, I'm really excited. Let's see, there's like 10 episodes total, but because of the release schedule is only going to be like 3 weeks or something before the last of them hit Disney Plus. So yeah, I'm excited to see where they take this.